Hi, I'm Sonali and I am a domestic abuse survivor. I use the word survivor because I'm definitely not a victim of my circumstance. I'm a survivor because I chose to survive my situation. I chose to get out of my situation. Years of torment, years of manipulation, years of lying. My ex-husband would drink and smoke drugs on a regular basis, and things got really, really hard for me because when you are in the midst of abuse, they do tell you that you are worthless and that no one else will ever love you except for them. Whenever they make a mistake, they always turn around and say, "I'm sorry, I'll never do it again," which is not true. It will always happen again and again and again, and it did with me. I was a broken person for a very, very long time, but the reality of my situation was unknown to everybody else around me. I asked people afterwards what they thought of my situation, and they all thought that I was in this fairy tale. They all thought that I had this amazing person that was by my side. They all thought I had a supportive person by my side. They all thought I had a kind person by my side, because on the outside, when we were at functions or events and things like that, he would be the perfect gentleman. But on the inside, no one actually knew what was going on. And I think that is the reality for a lot of people. I have friends who have been in the same situation as me. And one of my friends, I remember very specifically, her words were, "He talks to everybody else like butter wouldn't melt, but when he talks to me, it's like I am nothing." And I felt that in my situation as well. But we were married, and it did take me a long time to get out, but it actually took a massive circumstance for me to get out. It took my mum passing away suddenly to realise that what I had wasn't normal. I would pass it off as normal because I would say, "Oh, every couple has arguments. Oh, every couple has their little tiffs. Every couple has their disagreements." But they don't, actually. They don't have as many arguments as we did in one day. They don't call each other names the way that I was called names. They don't hit each other. They don't make each other feel worthless. A healthy relationship is where you make the other person feel good. You make the other person feel happy. And while happiness is an inside job, when that person that you're with enhances the happiness, that is a healthy relationship. When that person that you're with puts you down, makes you feel dumb on a regular basis, makes you feel worthless every day, that is not a healthy relationship. And it took my mum dying, and I'm very lucky that it didn't take my death for my family to realise, because that is another circumstance that a lot of women, they won't get out because they're too scared to leave. And women do die, and that is the sad reality of it, because they don't realise, or even if they do realise, they're too scared to leave. And that's what hurts me every single day, that there are so many women out there who go through so much, and they go through circumstances which nobody should. We had the Euros recently, and they said that if England lost in the final, the domestic violence would go up by 38%. And there were jokes about it on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. There were jokes of these men pretending to beat up their wives. It's not a joke at all. 38% is giant. And when England lost that final, I was sad. Yes, I was sad for the players and the team, but I was sad for all those women who were going to have to endure that violence that night. A lot of my friends say to me, "You don't take crap from anybody. You don't take anything from anybody. You will always answer back, and fight your corner." I'm considered strong when it comes to my friendship group. I'm considered I run my own business. I am independent. I do what I want when I want. And even with my parents, I always say, my parents never ever told me what to do, because they wanted me to pave my own way. And so I consider myself a strong woman. I consider myself pretty up there on the terms of strength. I've been through a lot in my life anyway. But when this happened, I thought to myself that it can't happen to me because I'm a strong woman. I thought to myself, you know, I'm not weak. I can fight back. I can fight my corner. But that's the wrong conception to have. It doesn't just happen to weak women. It happens to people who are CEOs of massive companies. It happens to women who have, you know, these wonderful lives and have everything going for them, but inside their home it's not the case. So the misconception is that it only happens to weak women. It's a massive misconception. And I was under that impression that it only happens to weak women. It can't happen to me. I cannot be in a situation where there's domestic violence. Okay, he might be shouting at me, but I shout back. So that's not domestic violence, that's just an argument. But actually, the name calling, the manipulation, the cheating, the violence, the pushing me over when he didn't get my way. I was called thick and dumb and stupid every single day of my life. I am none of those. I run my own business, I've got a university degree. I find that I consider myself quite an intelligent person. And I was actually under the impression afterwards that I was that thick, dumb, stupid person. Because you get told that so often, that it's what is drilled into your brain. You get told that on a daily basis. It's hurtful, but you think that you're not strong after that, and you think that, I don't know, your mindset gets changed. But I am a strong woman because I managed to get out of it. And women who know that they have that strength outside can have that strength inside, no matter how worthless they're made to feel. So spotting the signs, it's difficult. That, I think, is the first bit. When it's not violent, so my relationship didn't get violent until after we were married. It was a lot of manipulation and a lot of gaslighting and a lot of, and he did cheat a couple of times as well, but the violence didn't, so we got married in 2014, the violence didn't start till early 2015. And I remember the first time he got violent, my wrist was fractured. And that is when I thought, uh-oh. But he said to me, well, it's your fault. You grabbed me. I went to ask him why he was up so late, or I can't quite remember the circumstance. He was smoking drugs or whatever. And I remember going into the room and I remember asking him and I remember pleading with him. And I literally went to just say to him, please come back, and go to touch him. And he grabbed my wrist and then he thought, it's your fault for touching me. That was all your fault for touching me. And I remember thinking, oh my God, it was my fault. That's that manipulation, the level of gaslighting, because he was so charming. He could talk his way out of anything. And so they will lie, they will manipulate, they will gaslight. And that is, you've got to come out of your situation in your own head, because I know it's difficult because you think you love that person. And when you think you love that person, they can do no wrong. But you need to take a step out of your situation, maybe speak to people. So come out of your own situation, as hard as it is, and see, are other relationships like this? And the funny thing is my pivotal moment was actually watching Modern Family. I watched the relationship between the three main couples. And okay, it's TV, but I realised they have their arguments, but they don't call each other names. They don't hit each other. They don't say horrible things to each other to make the other one feel bad. And okay, maybe it's not about the TV romantic gestures, but it's about having that healthy enough relationship to work through things, don't hold grudges, and move forward. And I saw that in Modern Family. And that's when I realised this is not normal. So spotting the signs, although is the first step, it's the most difficult one. Yeah, you need to set out a plan for your life. You need to see where you want to be. And even if you feel completely alone, there's always people that you can talk to. You've got the Refuge charity. Refuge is fantastic. You can call them and they will be there for you. Refuge will help any woman who feels alone. You can turn to charity, you can go into a council house, anything to get away from violence. And it's not even just violence, it's the gaslighting and manipulation as well. Because domestic violence, it comes in, let's call it domestic abuse, because there's verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. So you need to think about your exit strategy. Reflect on what's going on, think about the outcome, and think about actually where you'd like to be and how happy you'd like to feel. Because if you haven't felt happy in a long time, that's not right. I didn't feel happy for years. I wasn't happy for years. I've got friends and family now telling me, Sonali, you're glowing. You look so happy. And I am. I'm the happiest. Although I've lost my mum and I miss her every day, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And I want women to see how happy I am now because I got out of this. Because no matter what your circumstance, even if you have to run 100 miles away like I did, there is always an exit strategy. And Refuge is there. You've got, even if you don't have any friends, if you've got friends, go and stay with your friends. If you've got Refuge, you can go and contact them. There are all sorts of things that you can do. Yeah, so I've got a really, really good friend. Her name is Seema. She is a domestic violence expert. She has been dealing with domestic violence cases for years and she understands the ins and outs of it. She's actually the one that helped me through it. She's actually the one that made me realise this isn't good enough. This is not what I deserve. Her favourite line, and I am going to use it, and I know she'll love it that I've used it, know your worth. She says that to me pretty much every time we talk. Everyone's circumstance is so different, but this is not what you were made for. You were made for great things. And we were, it doesn't just happen to women, so I can't say women were made for great things. Domestic violence can happen to men as well. So we were made for better. We were made to be happy and joyful and live our lives to the fullest. So if you don't feel happy, if you're in that situation, find a way out. Please find a way out. And if you've just come out of the situation and you're feeling down and you're going, where do I turn to next? Know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I found my light at the end of the tunnel and I couldn't be happier. I found my light and it is just the best thing in the world. Find that light at the end of the tunnel because I promise you it's there. I'm Sonali and this is my truth.